Hi, everyone. Welcome to Mini Scroll, the daily internet culture podcast bringing you the biggest stories from social media, the creator economy, and the digital space every Monday through Thursday. I'm your host, Lauren Meisner, the founder of the youth digital media brand Centennial World. Welcome back to Mini Scroll, everyone, and thank you guys so much for all the love on our return. I got so many DMs. We had so many comments on YouTube. You guys have been so sweet. I'm so excited to be back, and I have a normal 3 stories for you guys today. So the first story, of course, is we need to talk about how MrBeast, Logan Paul, and KSI have teamed up to launch a Lunchables competitor. So yesterday, the 3 creators announced that they are launching a brand called Lunchly, which is a prepackaged school lunch for kids that brings together 2 of their existing products, MrBeast's Feastables and Logan Paul and KSI's Prime Energy drink. These 2 products will be packaged together with either Fiesta Nachos, the pizza, or Turkey Stack'ems. So Quartz.com writes, quote, "The Lunchly kits available on the company's official website contain Prime drinks and Feastable bars, in addition to a choice of pizza, Turkey Stack'ems, or Fiesta Nachos. The Lunchly website features a side-by-side comparison of the meal kits and their Lunchables equivalents. Lunchly boasts that their products provide more electrolytes, contain fewer calories, and offer, quote, big gestures in comparison to their competitors' mid-moments." I can't. So they are going on sale apparently at select grocery stores or like retailers at the end of this week in the US. I don't know about anywhere else like internationally, but I think that this is really interesting because this is them admitting that their audience is children, that all of their audiences actually are children, not even teenagers, like legit children, right? And none of them really own that fact. And I think that's partly because if they spoke publicly about how their audience is very young. And when I say young, like I said, like not teenagers, like there's no teenagers bringing Lunchables to high school for lunch, right? So if they're launching a Lunchables competitor, this is like a pre-packaged lunch. This is for kids under 13 years old, presumably. Like this is for kids in grade school. So, if they were to be very public about the fact that their audience is very, very young, then that would put a lot of heat on them for their problematic content, their problematic views, their problematic supporting of certain celebrities, creators, politicians. I think MrBeast, out of all of them, owns it like the most, I guess I would say, because Feastables is so obviously geared towards children. Like it's a candy bar, it's a chocolate bar brand. But that being said, I watched hours of MrBeast interviews and documentaries for that MrBeast deep dive that we did at the beginning of the year. And not once did I hear him say, in the content that I watched at least, and again, I watched every interview that I could find really online of MrBeast, not once did I ever hear him say that his audience were children. And this just goes back to how I feel about MrBeast, which is, he's not really building a culty community, right? Like he is making shock value, lowest common denominator content for children who are inevitably going to age out of that content, obviously. So I think that this is almost like a bad PR move for, all of them, but especially MrBeast. There's already so much heat on him. I know that there's so much drama going on with his Amazon Prime show. Amazon, is that? Yeah, I think it's Amazon. And because of everything that's coming out, there's a lot of questions about, is MrBeast even going to really be able to attract that audience on a platform that's not YouTube? We know that Gen Alpha, who is presumably largely their audience, like MrBeast's audience, they probably don't have Amazon Prime subscriptions. Like their parents probably do, of course, but like they are iPad kids. They are addicted to YouTube. We know that is like the number 1 platform for Gen Alpha. So I think in a way, of course, it's like a good business move, I guess, to launch Lunchly's, but it's an interesting PR move because we know that MrBeast is trying to move away from YouTube. He is trying to be taken seriously in entertainment, in Hollywood, and this just further puts him in that box by telling, the public, like my audience actually is children. So that's who you're going to be attracting if you work with me on a major television network or anything like that. That's how I feel about that. I'm also very confused about the regulations around selling an energy drink bundled in a kid's lunch. Because Lunchly is so clearly marketed towards children. Like I said, there's no high school kids or like college kids taking prepackaged like Lunchables to school. That is a children's lunch. So this is very clearly being marketed towards children under 13. And I don't understand how they can get away with putting Prime in the Lunchables or in the Lunchlies or whatever. But I know there was already drama anyways. I think it was actually Australia that was warning, I think it was us, I don't know, some governing body here was warning parents against letting their children consume Prime because of the very, very high caffeine content. So I don't know. I guess we'll see. I guess Lunchly will probably not be sold in Australia, is what I'm gathering. Okay, the next story that I have is a very mainstream story, but I feel like it is important to cover. So Diddy has been arrested on sex trafficking and other charges. So rapper Diddy, whose real name is Sean Combs, was arrested on Monday on charges of sex trafficking, racketeering, and transportation to engage in prostitution, and accused of running a, quote, criminal enterprise that abused women over a period of years. Mark Agnifilo, a lawyer for Sean Combs, said, quote, he's going to plead not guilty, obviously. He's going to fight this with all of his energy and all of his might. Last November, an investigation kicked off after singer Cassie filed a lawsuit, quote, alleging that Combs abused her, urged her to have sex with male workers while he filmed, and that he later raped her. Ventura, so Cassie Ventura, Ventura's case settled one day after it was filed, set off a torrent of similar lawsuits from other accusers, several of whom also described brutal and disturbing details. Combs initially denied Ventura's allegations, but in May, CNN obtained and published a violent surveillance video showing Combs kicking, dragging, and throwing an object at Ventura, writes Fox. Diddy then took to Instagram to apologize once that video came out. First of all, it's just justice for Cassie and all the other women that have spoken out. But if you guys saw the video of Cassie and Diddy, it is so horrifying. And I'm so happy. I know she's actually spoken out. I literally just saw before I started recording, she spoke out and said, I was hoping for justice in this situation. And I feel like I'm just hoping that she gets it. So I will definitely be following this case. I have seen a few people talk about how this is hopefully going to be the Me Too moment for the music industry, because I was a little bit too young to really follow Me Too that closely, but I guess it didn't touch music obviously as much as it did just general entertainment and film and television. And I have faith that if this does become a Me Too-esque movement for the music industry, that the public will take it more seriously and receive it better than we did with the Me Too movement. I think the culture, especially online, internet culture has changed so much. But I do have faith that if something like this happened, if a Me Too-esque movement happened for the music industry, because internet culture is at the forefront of culture now, and I do believe internet culture is in a different place than, it obviously used to be. I would hope that that's of benefit to the victims, the survivors, and that there would be real change made here. So I'm going to follow it. I will keep you guys posted on any major developments on this case. Okay, the last story that I have for you guys is that parenting influencers Matt and Abby Howard have addressed allegations that they left their children alone on a cruise. So Matt and Abby are the family vloggers who go viral and make headlines all the time because of their controversial marriage podcasts, where they basically, I think people are concerned about how it seems Matt treats Abby or handles their relationship, They are like a family vlogging couple, but they actually don't show their children, which is something that I really appreciate from them. So, anyways, the story that Abby posted featured a photo of their baby monitors on a cruise. And the text wrote, "So we ended up taking them, as in their children, for 5 nights. And it became apparent that they weren't enjoying it, and therefore we weren't either. So then we switched our dinner time to after their bedtime and FaceTimed the monitors while we ate." She said the baby monitors didn't work well on board the cruise, so FaceTiming the baby monitors worked better. That like allowed them to basically be able to keep an eye on their kids. People went absolutely wild that they seemingly left their children alone in their rooms. So now Matt has responded in a video saying that there was someone with their children at all times and they were not left in these rooms on the cruise by themselves.
And people started to speculate and believe that we had left our children alone in their staterooms. And that is just completely untrue because we had someone with our children at all times on this boat, period.
I can see where my story did lead to misunderstanding, which is why I ended up deleting it several hours after posting it, is because I could see that it was causing concern and misunderstanding.
Okay, so I'm obviously not a parent, and I'd be interested to hear from parents what your opinion is on this. But I don't know if this is like an absolutely rogue or like inappropriate take, but I don't know if this is that scandalous. Like, I have to question if the children sleeping in their rooms on a cruise ship where Matt and Abby are like, it's not like they're at a restaurant, you know, it's not like the kids are at home and they're at a restaurant downtown or something. They're like on the same ship together. They're like, you know, a flight down, let's say, having dinner. And they have the baby monitors there so they can actually keep an eye on them. Like, I don't see how that is so different from them being in their rooms at home and you, let's say, like being in the basement watching a movie together and having the baby monitor there. I don't know. I was really surprised to see the reaction to this. But again, I'm not a parent, so I don't know. And I also understand, like, I'm a 90s kid. My husband's an 80s kid. You know, our parents, I was left in the car with the windows rolled down while my parents like ran into shopping centers. I am sure that I was left sleeping somewhere, you know, and maybe my parents took the baby monitor, maybe they didn't. Like, I don't know. And I understand there's always an element of like progress means, you know better, you do better. So things change. Obviously, for example, like we used to never wear seatbelts, right? And now we know better. So now we do. So I understand that argument as well. Like, I'm not saying that if I had a child, I would leave it in a hotel room while I was downstairs for dinner at the hotel. Okay, that's not what I'm saying. But I was really surprised by the reaction to this because I'm like, they're still there. You know, they're just like a flight or two downstairs. They might even be on the same floor. Like, I have no idea, right? But second of all, I was really shocked that Matt and Abby actually posted this because I do believe that like the family vlogging, like parenting corner of the internet, it is obviously very judgmental. It's very heated. People have a lot of opinions about parenting. And I feel like posting anything about parenting online would be terrifying. So I'm really surprised that they posted this because I'm sure that they could have anticipated that a reaction similar to this would have happened. So that leads me to think that maybe they posted this intentionally. And I know that's a bit like conspiracy vibes, but there's a lot of questions around if they post their controversial marriage podcast clips and stuff, if they post those to get press mentions, because anytime they post anything like that and it goes viral, it always gets written up in like People Magazine, Us Weekly. Obviously, their names do well and their takes are controversial enough that journalists feel, you know, it's worthy of a story. So I don't know. I feel like it's possible. They are very online. Obviously, their whole job is the internet. They would know to an extent that this reaction was going to happen. I have to wonder if they posted that intentionally to get press, not just engagement, but like press. I feel like that is what they're chasing because that's like legitimacy, right? Like getting a full story written up in People Magazine. If you're trying to be internet famous and boost your followers, your engagement, your legitimacy, like what's better? I don't know. I feel like I have my tinfoil hat on right now, but that's the inkling that I have. Anyways, guys, that's it for today. Thank you so much for listening to Mini Scroll. Please remember to rate, review, and subscribe. I love you guys, and I will talk to you tomorrow. Bye.